You don't think you need to worry about that. All right. My profuse apologies, everyone. Okay, so let's see. We got attendees. All right, attendees on Zoom. Apologies. Thank you for sticking with us. Actually, if you could come and just look at this list and tell me if all of these, every single one of these people are on your team.
Every single one.
Okay, cool. So we don't have any members of the public. We just have applicant teams. So that's good.
And we haven't finished the questioning.
Right.
I think the board finished the questioning.
No, right. I just wanted to make sure we didn't have any members of the public that were sort of lost.
Okay.
But for the attendees who are all on the applicant team, we had gotten to the presentation of the applicant, and we'd already gone over the approval of the minutes and had opportunity for public comment on items not on the agenda, but since there are no members of the public joining, that is not applicable. So let's start off where we were again.
So we can continue. Do you want to talk about lights?
I think we got some clarity on the lights.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure the people on the Zoom aren't going to complain about anything here.
Are there further questions? Yes.
Hi. Just a point of clarification. So the landscaped area looks to be only slightly smaller. You're going to maintain the same number of trees that exist now on the property?
Correct, 1-to-1.
Okay. Is there additional space to add any?
There is a lot of stormwater retention that's been added that really consumes a lot of the landscape. It's difficult.
Okay. Thanks.
And just kind of a
go ahead.
quick follow up to that. So the bio retention areas are the areas where there's crushed rock, and it's predominantly in the front of the property. Is that true?
It's all over this site.
It's all over the site.
The areas, there's little patches throughout. I believe it's on a civil drawing in the front of the set where the areas are. And then the landscape that goes in them are like seasonal grasses.
Right. No, I understand the planting palette for retention areas. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, Sarah.
Yeah, is there a color board available for the project?
There should be. Yeah.
It is in the plan set sheet A 3.1. It's not a full, oh, that's incorrect. It's not a full, separate color board.
Is that
not a physical color board?
Okay.
Oh, yeah, there's no
photographs. Yeah, and the renderings pretty much capture it. They're all kind of beigey colors except the slightly darker grayish color.
Okay.
So
yeah, it's difficult without samples to see the, I heard they weren't shiny, they are shiny, just to kind of get a feel for the colors. So I don't know is that a requirement or is it optional to do a board?
It is changed a little bit, and now that we've gone mostly digital, we've allowed for digital color boards. There is the opportunity to request a physical color board and color materials board.
Okay, maybe I'll just ask some more questions. The cement plaster and the EFIS, the gray, it's represented very similarly. Is it similar?
Very similar, yeah.
Okay, so are they meant to match?
They're very close.
Okay.
Right.
And then the roof screen, the painted metal screen, the light gray, what value is that compared to those light grays or to those grays we just talked about? It looks darker, slightly darker. Is that correct?
I'd have to defer that.
Okay.
To somebody at AHT, but I believe it's going to help blend in. It's going to be very close.
Okay. And then is the signage like where it says Lexus and the logo, is that sign itself illuminated?
Typically every sign is LED illuminated.
Okay, so it's kind of backlit.
I'd have to defer to some help for that. the actual details of the signage.
Okay.
Looks like we have somebody raising their hand from the applicant team.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
All right, Don, you're able to unmute yourself.
Hi, I'm Don Treeman with AHT, and yes, the lights. It's Lexus is very upscale, and they're sort of backlit just to make the letters glow. There's no front illumination on those, as far as I know. And there's nothing really glossy on the building. It's either matte, which is the metal, or basically it's all fairly matte finish.
Okay.
Nothing's going to be highly reflective in that building.
Okay, that's helpful. And for the, I know the trash enclosure is kind of tucked behind the building, but what's the intended material of that enclosure?
Concrete block
Is it also
and
gray?
a steel door painted.
Okay, gray, I'm guessing, or is it
It's,
something else?
yeah, Don.
No, it'll be painted masonry and metal, just to match the building.
Okay. And then I'm not sure if this question might also be for Don. The south-facing facade that's moved up towards the street has 16 feet of unshaded glazing. It looks like mostly cars are up against it, but has that been evaluated from a standpoint of efficiency, like energy efficiency? Have you guys looked at that?
We did. Obviously, we've been working with our engineers with Peak Engineering, and it totally meets Title 24. And there's not people standing in front of the glass or sitting facing the street.
Is that what led to the upper kind of the clear story panel being maybe a darker tinted glazing?
Just to keep, I believe so. That wasn't my area. My partner Patrick could participate perhaps, but I believe that was the reason. They just wanted to minimize the solar gain, but you still have to have the cars visible.
That makes sense. Is it tinted also like blue, green, gray? What's the tint on it?
I believe it would be grayish to match a warmish gray, whatever goes closest to the facade, so it doesn't stand out.
Okay.
It blends.
Just unmuted Patrick if you wanted him to chime in. Patrick?
Oh, yeah, I just wanted, good evening. My name is Patrick Werson, one of the partners at AHT. I wanted to address the question about the energy and the glazing in the front. The building is very efficient, meets Title 24. There is a zone taking care of the front of the glazing. It's clear glass, but it's essentially a solar screen in the glass. So I don't believe this should be an issue with the heat gain in the showroom.
Okay, thank you. And then just one last question. I noticed the EV charging is new to the site, kind of in the front. I didn't see any EV charging at handicap accessible spaces. Was that something that was discussed, or is that?
Okay,
That's required by
Patrick
code.
again.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Maybe it is.
The new
there.
code is requiring that now.
Right.
Yeah. So that will come.
Okay. And I know that's not our purview. I was just wondering if you guys had looked into that. I appreciate the thoroughness, the completeness of the packet and the clarity. So thanks. That's all my questions.
Any further questions? Okay, I think we're ready to open the public hearing.
Okay. So if you are participating via Zoom, you can use the raise hand feature. If you're participating through phone, you can press *9 to let staff know to allow you to unmute yourself. So with that, if there's anybody on Zoom who'd like to raise their hand to speak for public comment. Seeing none other than Don, but I think that was just from previously.
Yeah, I can lower my hand.
Okay, no problem. Seeing none.
Okay, then we'll close the public hearing. And do anyone on the board have any comments?
Oh, well, I have comments. Who wants to go first?
Who wants to go first? You.
I think I just volunteered. I mean, just a couple things on the landscape plans. I'd really appreciate it if you would ID the existing plant material on the site. I think that'd be helpful for anybody reading the plans. And just one observation on the staff report where you said there's a lot of, it's a variety of shrubs and bushes that are on the planting plan. There's not a shrub or a bush on the planting plan. So they're all perennials and they're all grasses. So again, that doesn't bother me because I know the plants, but that might be a little misleading for people who don't know that. So I would applaud the use of natives. I think it's a good planting plan. The only suggestion I would have is I wouldn't use native plants at your front door because most natives have kind of a downtime where they got to get cut back or they don't look good for a decent portion of the year. So in that one spot right there, I think there's a couple finger planters and then there's foundation plants along the front of the building. I would put something more interesting there. As for the building, I mean, I actually like the one that's there now, but I like your design. I think it's some nice upgrades. You know, Stuart made the comment about 300K lights in the front. I think if you can do that, I think that's a good idea. I certainly made a mistake in my own work to have 500K, so I know how harsh and how hard that can be to look at. The logo on the blade, I think is fairly well, is pretty understated, so I don't have any problem with that. And yeah, except for the, you know, maybe the plants at the front door, I can support the presentation as submitted.
Yes.
Just sort of following up on the landscaping, East Francisco is a pretty sort of harsh boulevard. And if there's a way when you do the final landscaping plan to soften the front, either by varying the height of the native plants or the addition of a tree, I assume you're, from what you said, that you're replacing the one that you're removing, but it looks like it could use some sort of softening along the street. And I know you're working with a very limited space there. Other than that, I like the building. I think it looks really modern and does look really consistent with other new Lexus dealerships. So I support the project.
Anybody else?
Want me to go next? Yeah.
Hmm?
Can I go next?
Yes, please.
Okay. So I agree overall. I think the new design is an upgrade. It looks more streamlined. I was not a fan of the mansard roof. Sorry, Jeff. I like the proportioning of the project. I feel like at the entry, the canopy being so high, to me feels a little out of pedestrian scale, but this building is also at the scale of a pretty significant street. So it seems to, you know, find that balance, and I think it's okay. I miss the color board because the colors are so kind of uniform. I think that would have really helped give some clarity. I'm not going to say it's a requirement, but it is very difficult in renderings. It's like picking, you know, a swatch off your computer and then ordering furniture or something. It's very difficult to know how that's going to look. So I think that would have helped, but I appreciate the descriptions. I think the signage is nice and subtle. And then overall, I support the project.
Good looking project, Christian. I like it. I think it's a great upgrade. I think it brings it up to today's look and looks like a nice project. My only comment is what I talked about was the lighting. If we can make the lighting, particularly what's visible to the public, and on the other side of the canal, believe it or not, there's view from some residences. So there's been talk about in town that they're trying to get things dialed down. So if 3000K wall packs and parking lot lighting are available to you guys, I would strongly urge you to use those.
All right. I like the building. I think the landscape plan isn't fully developed yet. Like there's 10,000 square feet of decorative crushed rock. And so it would be nice to make a little bit more of an effort in designing the landscape. And I agree with Jeff about the native plants, that it's not going to look nice all year. And I also think that the color board really should be a requirement. It's just too hard to make a decision. If we're here about design, we need the full information to be able to make a, so I miss the color board. I wouldn't mind if I got one in the email or something, or if we could see it next time. And I think that is all my comments. So is someone ready to make a motion?
Member Alexin moves that we approve I might not say it exactly right, the Lexus Marin remodel project.
Okay, is there a second?
Actually, I'd like to comment. Does staff have a kind of a list of consensus?
Yeah,
Maybe we can make a motion once we hear what the
Okay.
consensus is.
Yeah, I think that would be good. So let's see here. So let's start off. So member Kent, you were saying recommending the use of natives? Or
I'm not recommending the use of natives at the front door.
Okay. Do you have some species or just not natives?
I'm sure their landscape architect is capable of coming up with a couple plant choices for the front door.
Okay, so no natives near front door. And you said something a little more interesting in the finger planters.
Well, the finger planters and the foundation plantings in the front are all sort of one piece. So anything that's kind of right at the very front door or near the front door, those two items, they probably shouldn't be natives, simply because they have to be cut back. They have downtimes, and I get that scattered around the property, but right at the front's probably not a good idea.
Okay.
You're thinking it should be ornamental planting?
Yeah, definitely ornamental plantings, but something that has a little bit more year-round appeal.
Any guidance in terms of size and height, or you let them kind of figure that out?
Yeah, I mean, they can figure that out. It shouldn't be much wider than the width of the planter, and anywhere to 2 to 4 feet is probably fine.
Okay. And then the other comment was the lighting, and I heard 300K from member Kent and then 3,000K from Summers.
3,000.
3,000K, okay. 3,000K.
Would you be comfortable if we said, less than 4,000 and down to 3,000, because there might be a range?
Yeah,
So
I
to be
agree. I
specific,
think there might
it's-
even on commercial lighting might have 3,500. So yeah,
Exactly.
I would be happy with that.
Okay.
Anything to just soften it a little.
Okay, less than 4,000K on the lighting, particularly facing the public, and that includes facing the canal. Okay, and could use. And then remember, Alexin, you mentioned softening along the front of the street. So that was intending more landscaping. Okay.
The only problem with landscaping along that street I've noticed when I've walked it, tends to collect a lot of trash and garbage. So it's just something to think about. I mean, it sounds great when we talk about it, but then in reality, it's really hard to upkeep. I don't know if our resident landscape architects agree with that or not.
I mean, just kind of an additional comment on that. There is a lot of crushed rock in there, and it creates some interesting shapes, but maybe the planting areas can be larger and still, retain the shapes that they're trying to create with less rock and just a few more plants.
Actually, I just want to
They can use
second
the
that.
same-
Yeah.
What, pardon?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were.
I mean, you can use the same plants, just make those planting areas a little bigger, a little less crushed rock.
Agreed.
I agree.
Okay. And I think that was everything loud and clear in terms of the material and colors board. So we'll make sure that is a physical one is brought in addition to the electronic one. And I believe that is all the comments. And then a typical practice that we're trying to make sure we implement is just allowing the applicant to ask any clarifying questions on any of the comments, if they have any.
Seems pretty clear.
Okay.
All right, now we're ready for a motion? Or do you want to summarize? Or is that, was that your summary?
That was it.
Okay, good. So now we're ready for a motion. You do.
So Member Alexin, I move that we approve the Alexis Marin remodel project.
Is there a second?
With the inclusion of the consensus item?
Yes.
Board Member Summers seconds.
And that's a recommendation of approval. Okay, so I'll take roll call. Board Member Alexin.
Aye.
Vice Chair Kent.
Aye.
Chair Kowalski.
Aye.
Board Member Reggie.
Aye.
Board Member Summers.
Aye.
That's all of the voting members.
So the motion has passed. Next, we'll move on to the director's report.
Okay, so let's see here. A couple of items. One of the items is that my colleague Monica Lee, also a senior planner, will be taking over my role as design review board liaison. So planning manager Leslie Mendez just gave her notice a week or two ago. So she will be working for the city of Albany. And so as a result, I'm going to be helping out with the planning commission as their liaison. And so Monica will help with you all.
You getting a promotion?
No, this is just a reordering of roles. And along with that, the July 5th meeting, I know a couple of you cannot make that, but that is when we are targeting on having Northgate Town Square project come to you all for consideration again.
On July 5th.
July 5th.
That's a rough day. The day after a national holiday.
Do you think they want to do it because there'll be less of us here?
Yeah.
Well, actually, we should actually all discuss, because if they can't get a quorum out of us, there's no meeting.
I'll be out of the country.
Yeah, so they might get booted because
Yeah.
I don't think I'm available either.
Okay, so yeah, I've sent an email to you all requesting your summer schedules. I've heard from 3 of you. So if you haven't gotten back to me, please get back to me.
I
So
don't think we specifically were asked about that date, though.
No.
We were just asked a broad brushstroke.
right, correct. So I have summer schedules for 3 of you, but if you have not gotten back to me, please let me know.
And of those 3, how many would not be able to be there?
2 would not be able to attend the July 5th.
Maybe 3.
Maybe 3.
Maybe 4.
So yeah, again, if please, if you have not gotten back to me on that
Okay.
request, please get back to me so we can plan accordingly.
Yeah, particularly with a project of that scale.
Right.
I mean, that's every single one of us should try to be there for that.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
that's a big one. That should be a full board. Yeah.
So yeah, once I hear from you all, I will bring that information to the director to discuss.
I have a question about
Yeah.
that. About are you the planner for that?
No, so we have a team of planners. I'm working on that project. Community Development Director Alicia Judici is working on, as well as consulting planner from M Group.
Okay.
And-
Last time, I hear that. Last time it was not well packaged for us.
Okay.
And I think the meeting went till 11 or something. And I think, please think ahead, and if we have to break it into different parts of the meetings or make it an organized thing so we can address it well and not frustrate the public or the client.
Okay, absolutely. And so I would say if you have any additional thoughts on that, please email them to me. Your comments are well received. I don't want to talk too much more about it because it's not on the agenda, and we
Okay.
yeah, but absolutely, if you have input, please provide it to me.
Okay.
Kind of one other comment on that is, I don't know how long we're going to still do these hybrid meetings, but that might not be a great hybrid meeting.
That would be, yeah.
Right. So as of now, the practice for all boards and commissions is to allow the hybrid option. So I don't foresee that changing in the next couple of months. And that decision lies with our city clerk's team and with our city manager's office.
Yeah, that
City
that might be a
clerk
real,
and manager. So that's who we discuss it with. Okay.
Yeah.
because that could be a real mess as a hybrid meeting, I think.
Okay. So again, that's our standard policy is to allow hybrid for all boards and commissions. And so, yeah, city clerk's office sort of directs how we handle those.
Okay, where are we? I could use
Let's
that glass
have
of
a
water.
revolt.
Yeah.
All right, where are we? Let's see.
Oh, and
Director-
sorry, one other member raised the question about DRB attendance policy. And so just want to give you a heads up. I am currently reaching out to our city clerk's office. I actually could not find anything that requires that you attend so many meetings or that you cannot miss so many meetings, but I just want to verify that.
It's hard too when we've had so many canceled. We used to be like 2 weeks, like clockwork.
Right.
Now it's like, it's sporadic. So it is actually a little hard to plan for.
Right. And on that, one thing I'm definitely trying to do and is make sure that when the public notice goes out 3 weeks in advance, that I'm trying to, I don't always, but letting you all know to at least give you at least a couple of weeks advance notice. So you're not just getting the packet and, you have a meeting.
Unless it's a holiday, it's always the.
Oh, okay.
But unless it's a holiday, it's always the first and third Tuesday.
Correct. And at the beginning of the year, the first meeting of the year, we always adopt the calendar for the regular Drb meetings. And so we set all those dates. But yes, that's correct.
Okay, are there any further communications from the board to the staff?
No, so there's no meeting in 2 weeks. That one, I saw your email.
Correct. Yeah, we do not have anything scheduled for the second June meeting.
Okay. If there's nothing further, then the meeting is adjourned.